lot of weight over here in this slide.
Hey guys, so as you can see, we did something kind of crazy.
We're in the RV.
Yep, as you can see in the title, you know, we've decided to sell everything we own and move into an RV. So we want to give you a quick update as to what's going on, tell you how it happened, tell you the process of it. Make sure you stay tuned.
So guys, I know a lot of you have been waiting for this YouTube. We've been meaning to give it to you. However, we both work full time.
Super busy.
Yeah. We're youth pastors. We have our own family. We've been getting used to the transition.
It's been a rough transition, right?
I mean, like
so
I
the
tell
transition
people,
was smooth, but the lifestyle change, we've had to get used to it, right?
Yeah. So let's start from the beginning.
I don't know how far you want to go back.
Alright, we don't want to keep this video too long. You keep moving the camera.
Crap, dude.
So let's backtrack to tell you guys how we got where we are. So I have a very nice job and he has a very nice job. We both work full time and we both have God-given salaries, right? We had an HOA house, you know, beautiful, 2-story, built it brand new in 2017. We thought it was going to be our forever home.
By the way, we love that house.
We love that house.
Yeah.
We love all the things in it too.
Yeah.
The couch, everything. We have fond memories in that house. So we thought we'd always do this for the rest of our life. This would be like our forever home.
Right.
However, in conversation with some friends, I realized that God was kind of shifting my desires and speaking to him about getting debt free. So it all started there in a conversation. And basically it was, where do you see yourself in 5 years? Very simple question, right? However, this was the first time in my life that I felt like it was full-time ministry versus corporate. Now that's a big deal for me because in the past I would always say, oh, corporate, God's called me to, you know, where everyone is in the corporate world. They need Jesus too. You know, God's got his favor on me. Like, you know, I love what I do.
Which he does, and, you know, she's still doing amazing things. Yeah.
All of those things don't negate the fact that God was now shifting my heart into, I really want you to do something different with your time full time. So I was like, wow, you know what? That looks like, you know, full-time ministry, whether that be youth ministry or whether that be outreach or young adult, whatever it is, that I'm open to what God has.
Yeah, and we're saying that if you don't know, pastors don't get paid a lot of money. So besides like the 1% that you see on TV making billions of dollars, all that kind of stuff,
writing books and stuff,
writing books and all, and I'm not mocking them or, you know, dishonoring them or anything, but most pastors don't make that much money. So we're looking at it like, ooh, if that's the case, then we need to start prepping and preparing ourselves to not make as much money as we're making now.
So it was like a prepare word, you know, like you'll get these words and you know that something's coming, but it's not there yet. This was kind of that situation. So after that conversation, I began kind of wrestling with God about what that prepare word looks like. And to try to make a long story short, it was prepare your home and your finances for what's going to be coming. So that's what we had to do. And we were like, you know, we could technically pay off debt in our home. We both, you know, make, you know, good money. So let's just do it in our home and whatever. However, we said it will take a lot longer. So if God were to call us, let's say next year, would we be able to say yes? Or would we say, sorry, God, we still need to do bivocational because we have too many bills.
Yeah, we just can't afford it. And that's not an excuse I feel like we can
And it's
give
not a
to God.
faith thing. We have plenty of faith. A lot of our friends know what we've been through and know the way God has come through Jehovah Jireh. So, like, that's not even a thing in our book. But this is just a new season for us. So, yeah.
So basically, we just asked God, hey, what do you want us to do? You know, and we feel like God was like, hey, we want you to sell everything you have and go as minimal as possible.
Simple life. And we had went to a friend's house who lives in their area as well, and they have like the cutest farmhouse ever. Shout out to Kaylee and Josh. But we went there and I was like, this is what I want. Like, HOA, CDD houses, like those neighborhoods, they're beautiful. They all have so many amenities to offer, and there's so many pros to living in a neighborhood like that. But there's something so beautiful about having just your own land, having cows and chickens and whatever your fancy. 4-wheelers, you know. We've never had that. I've always been in a neighborhood, and you know, he hasn't had that either. So we were like, we want our kids to experience something different.
Yeah, so we decided, you know what, we're going to listen to what God is saying, and we ended up selling the house that we love oh so much.
I know.
You know,
it was really hard.
But the good thing is, you know, when God calls you to do something, he'll give you the grace to be able to do that something. So although we love that house, we still do love that house, we're okay with it. Like, we're not bothered by it. We're not like resentful towards God for anything. Nothing like that. Even the kids are okay with it, and they're good. And we made the transition, and it was a smooth transition. It wasn't hard at all for us to say goodbye to the house, although we loved it and still do.
Yeah, like we always will. And you know, we have those fond memories. And when we were going through the process, you know, I had my first moment when the realtor came, which was amazing, by the way. When our realtor came and she left for the first time, I just began crying. Just the thought of putting it on the market. And he was like, you know, obviously wanting to take care of me. He's like, babe, we don't have to do this. We can find a different way to like be obedient. And I was like, no, you know, I think it's just me. Although we're not supposed to be like attached to things, there is a sentimental.
Yeah, because memories are attached to those things.
Yeah, right? And that's normal. Mm-hmm. So, you know, it was just that one moment, but after that, like, I don't know if I'll grieve later. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. Maybe other full-timers have had the same scenario when they sold their house, but for us personally, it was just that one time, well, really just for me. And then after that, I was fine. It was like, literally, like, God's grace was on it through the whole process. It was super seamless. The house was only on the market like 26 days or something.
Yeah, less than a month, right?
Yeah, less than a month. VA loan, beautiful family who was able to come from Hawaii. So we know that it's going to be taken well care of. But it was like a seamless process. And then that's when him and I, which we weren't able to say in our like post, is like, what was the process to do it? Like, how much planning does it actually take? It takes a lot. So, do you want to start with like how long we spent on YouTube looking at RVs?
Yeah, first of all, we looked at she's right, that's probably the first thing we did. We went to YouTube, we looked at like a million different clips of RV reviews, because you want to find, if you're deciding to move into this lifestyle where you're full-time RVing, you want to make sure you find the right RV for your family.
It's key to be very honest with you.
Yeah, and it's not even like the way it looks, it's more the layout.
Yes.
That's important.
And the space, like where your slides are. Yep. You know, do you need a bunk room? Do you not need a bunk room? How many kids do you have? What is important to you and your family?
Right. Because there's going to be something that you have to sacrifice when you're moving into an RV.
Of course. It's not. It's literally a tiny home on wheels. Like, but it's not going to have all of the amenities as your home will. So don't expect all the great amenities that you had, like a bathtub, in an RV. Right. You know, so there's some pros and cons, and you have to really make sure that you write down. So him and I, we wrote down pros and cons, and like, what are our must-haves? Like, what do we have to have? So that way, when you get to the point where you are ready to go to an RV, you know, distributor or company, you know what you're looking for, because they're going to ask you a million questions. Yep. What's your name? What are you looking for? You know, all these things. What is your price range? These are all things that you should have planned out with your spouse or significant other. You should have these planned out. This is what we need, and this is the price range, so they know where to direct you.
Right, and for us, we decided we wanted a bunkhouse because we wanted our girls to have their own space, because as much as we love them and love being around them, we also need our own space.
Separation is
so, for example, we've seen a beautiful, which is still one of my favorite RVs, with a front living room, and it had the bedroom in the back, but it had their bedroom like as an upstairs
like a loft.
in a loft, which is super cool when you think of the thought of it. But when you get down to the practicalities of a young married couple and your young kids living right directly on top of you with a thin wall separating you,
not
you know
gonna
what I'm saying?
happen. Yeah. So
we
first
decided against
and
that.
foremost key for us was separate space, where the kids are on one side of the RV and we are on the other side of the RV. So that is very key for us. So that made it very simple when we came to get ready to go to the, RV companies. This is what we're looking for. And you only have X amount of models versus 70,000.
Yeah.
So it really does help if you and your spouse or significant other are really making sure that you have this pros and cons list done first.
Yeah, do your research. It's so important. Do your research.
Yeah, and there's a lot of full-time RVers, rocking and rolling, different, what is it? Keep your daydream.
Keep your daydream.
You'll have to learn how to tag them, or you already know, but I don't. But we watch a lot of families that do this full-time for,
So the
years
difference,
on end.
the difference between a lot of full-time RVers and us is that we're stationary. Meaning that, so they go and they travel and they do homeschool and
They'll stay there like a week. And then they'll go to a different place.
Right, yeah.
And they homeschool their kids.
And they work remotely.
Yeah, they all work remotely.
We're different. We're planning on being stationary 90% of the time and then traveling 10% of the time. So we had to find out different things, because we don't have a septic system on the land that we moved on to. So that's an issue. So we had to figure out how to work out the septic system, because you don't want to just pour, waste into the ground.
We're all about doing things the right way.
Right.
So we had to do research on that. And then, again, planning ahead of time, like, okay, I know there's going to be a small washer and dryer either that we'll buy or is already in the RV when we buy it. So are we really going to need a washer and dryer when we move? So that was like another thing that we had to plan ahead, is like running electric. He's an electrician, so that's a blessing. Running the electric for our stationary, location, our new home. Running, washer and dryer to
the water for it.
Running the water and electric for that. I work from home remotely since COVID, so I needed my own office because I can't be sitting in the living room when the kids are all running around. So these are all things that you have to think of that works for you and your family. So it's going to be different for everyone.
Yeah, so we had a location, some friends of ours are letting us stay on their land. They've got 6 acres, so we're all the way in the back of the land. So I had to end up running a bunch of electric over to a separate panel so we can power the RV. Then we had to run water to have fresh water for the RV. Then we had to clear the land. She had fun clearing the land, right?
That was fun. You'll have to add some pictures going in, but we with Sunbelt. So I don't know where you're located, where you're watching this, but with a company that has equipment with Sunbelt, we rented a bush hog, we rented a trencher. So it was fun to just prep the land. It kind of gave us like this is what it'll be like when you buy your own land as well. Because what our ultimate goal is, we'll be here, we'll be stationary, I'll still drive the girls to school, I'll work full-time, he'll work full-time, we'll stay just as everything was the same. It's just literally a different location, kind of just like picking up and moving to a different house. But
besides the fact that we had to downsize significantly and sell everything that we own.
I feel like that should be its own video. That was a lot.
We had to sell everything.
I mean, obviously not every
I would say
single
98%
piece,
of stuff.
It was a lot.
Yeah.
And you realize just how much things don't sell for. Mm-hmm. You sat here and went to American Signature and spent like 5 G's on like really nice furniture when you first bought the house, and then 3 years later God tells you to do something and you sell it and you get like $200.
Yeah.
It's crazy. But
especially because you have to sell it in a rush because you're wanting to move out before the closing date happens, so you got to get it done.
And that was like another thing, like the whole timing thing, like God's timing was all over it, because you couldn't sell this stuff too soon because you had to show your home. So it was like you had to kind of stage it. So you can't be selling stuff and have an empty house while still living there. So that part's weird. And then like, like, okay, when do you buy the RV? Because technically if you don't have any other funds, you have to wait till you close on your home to buy the RV. But then the problem is you're kind of going a couple of weeks being homeless or living with someone else
or in a hotel or something.
Whatever, because it takes time. So thankfully, we had our planned out, like, okay, we're going to use this funds to purchase. So that kind of goes into why we chose this RV.
Yeah.
We have to post before and afters and kind of do
we'll
our
give you
own
guys a
video.
walkthrough and do the before and afters and all that stuff. So
we'll
stay
do
tuned for that. But, you know, once we moved, once we cleared the land, you know, all that stuff, we knew what we wanted. We knew that we wanted this RV. We also knew that she needed her own separate office because we have 3 kids and they're loud. So
we're
we
Spanish,
basically,
so.
and we'll show you a walkthrough of all that too on the next video, but we basically bought a metal storage.
Like a steel building.
Yeah, it's like a metal
It's a 10
shed.
by 14.
It's a 10 by 14 metal shed. And then we ran electric to it. We ran, hooked up all the drywall, insulation.
Now,
painted
we
it.
didn't do that particularly, but we got it done.
Yeah. So we hooked her up at a little office. You know, she's got her own little office building.
I can't wait to show you guys. It's so glamorous.
She
I
is.
love it.
She is such a woman, a girly girl.
Listen, I need my space.
It's pink as pink gets.
Yeah, it's pink and gray, and it's like subtle but glamorous.
But it's nice. It's cool. So, you know, however she wants it, it's all good. So we got that, and then we also got a, what size is it?
12 by 24.
A 12 by 24 metal shed.
It's like our garage.
It's like our garage. Yeah, we have a bunch of stuff in it, you know, that we're storing, the 5% of stuff that we kept. And we also put our washer and dryer in there, and we ran water and power to it.
Super nice.
So,
again, we're speaking from a stationary standpoint. All of those who are thinking about traveling 24/7, you obviously wouldn't be having to purchase the steel buildings, or you wouldn't have like the washer and dryer. You'd have the one that comes in the RV. But again, we're speaking from a this is us, our journey. We're stationary. I want to talk about, babe, why we chose the RV that we chose. And originally, when we were going in, we were going to purchase a 2020 or a 2021.
Oh, yeah.
And why we kind of chose a 2017. So I guess I'll start, or do you want to start?
So I'll mention something quick. We have a Jayco 375 BHFS.
Yes.
Yes. So the reason we chose this is because, like she said, the bunkhouse is on the opposite side of the bedroom, right? So we chose it, and then it's got a good layout for us. It's got 5 slides. So we were looking at a new one, and the new one was almost 80 grand, I think, 75.
Yeah, they're expensive. The new ones are expensive.
Yeah.
And I mean, to be honest, features wise, there was still a lot of wood. You would have had to paint it if you wanted the all white look, which is what we wanted. So to be honest, you would have been investing $40,000 more into something that you would have wanted to change anyways. So it's like, what was the point?
Yeah, well, she means $40,000 more than what we paid for it.
Yeah. So, like I said, when we went into all of these different, companies, there's Optimum RV, there's Lazy Days. Like, this is our Tampa Bay, location. When we were going into these places, we were always looking at 2020 or 2021. However, when we let them know, the price range, although we were approved and we were ready to go on the 2020, we then sat down before we wrote our names on the dotted line. We were like, let's really process this. Why are we doing this?
Right.
What is the point of our journey? And we said, okay, it's to get debt free. Well, then why can't we look at used ones? Not that there's anything wrong with them. Why can't we, to save a lot of money? So like he said, we went from looking at something and signing for something that was going to be $85,000 to something that was now $35,000.
Yeah.
So very significant difference. And one of the largest things is that we had to look past the cosmetic look. So we'll show you in the pictures, but it was very hard to look at.
Yeah. Now the people who owned it before us, they had, let's just say, a different set of tastes.
Everyone has different tastes.
Yeah, so when we speak negatively, it's from our opinion. It's not, speaking negatively of those people and their taste.
I'm sure they're amazing people.
I'm sure they're great, but we did not like it.
Yeah, it was, I mean, different wallpaper in every room, you guys will see. Peach paint, teal paint, very, very, very crazy colors, which again, that was for them. For us, we really wanted the simple black and white, very traditional.
I would say we're a little bit more bougie than that. We want our stuff looking kind of fancy.
We're gonna be living in it.
Yeah.
So
we like fancy and clean looking.
I say bougie on a budget.
Bougie on a budget. Yep. So needless to say, we got it. We saw it. It was very woody. and different colors.
Very 70s.
Yeah. Yeah, so we were like, you know what? No, this ain't gonna work. So she gave it a nice little. She had a nice little vision for it, and we actually hired a friend of ours.
Yes, which we'll have to tag his company there. He did an amazing job. So basically, he came in. I said, "This is what we want. This is the vision that I'm looking at." I showed him some pictures, kind of talked it out. We looked at samples on paints and surfaces. We ended up painting the whole RV, literally from front to back. We ended up resurfacing all of the counters because they were very outdated. We ended up resurfacing the shower.
Yep.
The sinks in the bathrooms. We kept the sink in the kitchen as is. And then we ended up tearing down all of the valances and taking all of them out. So we did a lot of work, and he did a lot of work. So we were able to invest in another Kingdom company. But it looks literally night and day.
Yeah.
Like, it looks incredible in here. I know you probably only see a tiny bit behind us, but
I'll be loading
we'll have a
pictures
picture
as we talk. Yeah.
and another video. But it is so beautiful, and it really does make a difference for being in here 24/7. So.
Yeah, I changed the little faucet that was in the sink into a nice little bougie, fancy faucet.
You cannot believe, like, I can't believe how much of a difference the lighting makes. Remember, I told him, I said, throw away all the lighting. All of the lighting was outdated, so we found all of that on Amazon. And we did the sink.
Yep.
You did the sink. Do you want to start and tell them about, like, the literal transition? Like, the stuff that we
Yeah, the stuff that
came
went wrong.
across? Yeah.
Yeah, so let's just say RV living is different than regular single family home living.
Yeah.
All right, so you have to adjust this lifestyle because it's different, you know, and because it's used. I'm not sure how the people before us really took care of it. I'm not saying they did
it went
bad.
through testing and whatever, but
Yeah, but we came across several issues.
a lot.
Ready? Go.
Wait, no. I wanted to kind of tell them, like, just as a background, Chucho and I, Angel and I, have never been in an RV.
Never.
Never.
Yeah, let me tell that
Like,
story.
I just think that's funny because we would tell friends that we're doing this, and they're like, "Have you ever been in an RV? Have you ever RV'd?" And I'm like,
Never.
No.
Yeah, we were selling our stuff, and some guy we don't know came into our house, and he was buying our furniture, and we were telling him what we were doing. He was like, "Oh, that's freaking awesome, man! You know, you spent a lot of time in an RV before?" And I go, "Never. Nope." And he's like, "So you're moving into an RV, into something that you've never been in before?" And I'm like, "I've been in it, like in the walkthroughs
like,
at the RV distributor
where we
place,
saw friends."
You know, but no, not really. We never lived in it. Nope,
never.
But we tell them the same thing we're telling you guys. We heard from God and we listen. And right now, we're good. Like, we're okay. We actually like this, you know, which is weird because we've never been in it before.
Never.
But like I said, it's different than regular home living, you know.
Yeah.
So one of the things we came across was,
I have a list, guys. This is the sad part. So, I don't know if you guys have ever, like, you know, watching this, have ever had this scenario, but you'll do something God says to do, and then everything will go wrong, right? It'll be like,
it'll be smooth at first, and then stuff starts happening,
boom,
and you're
boom,
like,
boom, boom.
wait a second.
And you're like, wait a second. Did we miss God on this? Like, maybe I know everything, like, was, you know, his timing, and it was just perfect, but, like, then we're here, and this is all happening. I'm like, maybe we should have went a different route or something. I don't know.
Maybe we should have got new. We were.
It'll really make you questions and stuff. Yeah. So, like, the first night in, mind you, it was January, like middle of January, and I know some people may be watching from other states, but in our defense, our blood is a lot thinner as Floridians.
Yeah, we're in Florida.
It was freezing,
and it was like 45 degrees or something.
It was freezing.
Don't laugh. To us, that's freaking cold.
It's cold, okay? Yeah. And so we had no heat, okay? We could not figure out the fuse thing. I know they gave me a walkthrough at purchase day, but, like, let's be real. They're showing you a 40-something foot RV in 30 minutes. You're not going to remember everything. And although I was taking really good notes because I'm very detailed, you will not remember everything. So we didn't have heat. We have a small little, like, electric fireplace, but it did not, like, heat the whole
No, it was
RV.
too cold for it. We had to have the actual heat turned on, and the heat wasn't turning on.
It wasn't turning on.
We couldn't figure out why.
It was bad. We were freezing.
Yeah.
But we made it work. As long as the kids were warm, we were okay.
Yeah, we turned on our electric fireplace and aimed some fans towards the girls' room.
Yeah, and it worked out. Yeah. But like that was like our first or second night.
Yeah.
Then.
So let me say this: I found out what the problem was. Our propane. We have 2 propane tanks, and one valve switches from one to the other. So if one runs out, you can just switch it to the other side. So apparently one of the sides wasn't working properly. So I just had to take the full one out of it and put it in the side that was working properly.
How would we have known that?
Right. Yeah.
So yeah.
Needless to say,
trial and error.
Yeah, we just joined a Facebook group that had the same model as us.
I appreciate you guys.
Yeah, so we went to the Facebook group. Hey, this is going on, and they were like, hey, check this. Make sure you check that, and we did, and they helped us. So we got heat. But on one of the coldest nights of a Florida winter, I'm out there in the dark with a flashlight, shivering, trying to figure out what's going on.
It was bad.
A struggle bus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then the next thing was that, on this property, we let the kids go out and play, which has been probably one of the best things about this transition, and we'll get to that later.
That'll be included in the walkthrough, too.
We both did that. It's so stupid.
Recording.
The water heater fuse went out.
Yeah.
So thank God you're an electrician, but RVs are different than, like, homes. Mm-hmm. RV things are so different. I mean, just everything. Everything is so different. Yeah. So we couldn't take showers that day. So we went with just like baby wipes and stuff like that. But like literally you could not take showers. Yeah. That was like day 2. Mind you, every single thing that I'm naming was literally the next day. It was no break.
It was thing after thing after thing after thing. Yeah.
Every single day something was happening.
Yep.
The next one after that is Chucho was like, you know what, babe? I'm gonna order this nice sink that you saw, and let's put it in. It's black. It'll go with the whole.
The faucet I was talking about.
The faucet.
Clean.
It's
it looks
so
nice.
It's a lot taller.
Yeah.
Gooseneck, so I can actually wash my larger dishes. However, when he went to go put it in for me, he's not a plumber, but he's very handy, and the gasket broke.
Yeah, one of the gaskets came out, and I didn't realize it. So when we turned the water on, water was splashing everywhere. And I had to turn the water off.
Main water.
Yeah, because there's no local shutoffs for it, so I had to turn the main water off.
So you can't go to the bathroom.
Yep, you can't take a shower. You can't use the potties. Nothing. So I'm in there underneath the sink trying to work on it, and the kids are going, I gotta take a poop.
And it's taking hours to work on this.
Yeah.
On a Sunday night. We were all tired, flustered, wanting to take showers, watch a movie. Mm-hmm. Not happening. Then I go, babe, you know what? Let's not even play with it. How about you just get the old one, put the old one back in, and then it'll be fine. We'll get back to normal life. And he puts it in, still the same.
Because the gasket came out and it fell somewhere I didn't realize the gasket was missing.
So thank God for plumber friends. So thank you guys.
Yeah, so I called my friend and he was like, there should be a gasket in there. So I looked online, found out what gasket it was. The next day, I temporarily put a bunch of tape on it, hooked it up, and made it to where it wasn't leaking anymore, put a towel underneath it, and turned the water back on so the girls can take showers and all that stuff. So my friend told me, yeah, you need this gasket. I went and got it, hooked it up. It's good now.
Yeah, so that thankfully got better. The next thing, so this is a big deal.
So if you have a washer combo thing in your RV, just know that it fills the gray tank up fast. So after the fact, I did a little bit of research and found that it uses 8 or 10 gallons of water, something like that, for the brand that we have in the RV, which it came with, and that it fills it up quickly. Well, I didn't think nothing of it. I'm just, as I'm working, I'm just running a load of laundry because you can only fit 4 things in there. So I'm like, I gotta continuously put it on. Well, all of a sudden, I'm getting ready to go for a run, and I'm my friends are waiting on me outside, and all of a sudden, I go to open up the bathroom to grab something out of the bathroom, and the water is flooding out of the bathroom, and I'm freaking out because he's not home yet, and I'm like, babe, what do I do? It's water everywhere. What had happened was our gray tank was literally overflowing. So it was coming up from the shower. Now the shower has probably a 4-inch lip on it. It's not big. It had overflown over that into, so it was bad. So just to let you know, just in case you don't know, there are 2 different kinds of tanks. There's a gray tank and a black tank. The gray tank, it has sink, shower. It's relatively still clean water, if you will. Then you have the black tank, which is the waste. She's talking about the gray tank. So it
Yeah,
wasn't
so
like
it's not
waste
poop,
coming up.
But
you know,
it was still
but it was
water.
still flooding.
And you never want water in an RV.
No.
So I was freaking out. I didn't know what to do. And of course, I'm like, what's lever? Which one? Ah. Anyway, so that was another adventure the next day. Again, this is all a day in between. Then the next thing after that was the black tank.
Yeah. Which has been a consistent issue for the past like 2 weeks.
It may have been something the people before us did, but we can't identify that.
Yeah.
So what we can say is that RVs can clog. I know there are some YouTubes that we watched that they said, you know, your black tanks never clog, your toilets will never clog. Well, they can.
They can. They do.
I guess, again, being very new, maybe you should like do I don't know. There's so many like special critiques that you should be doing.
You know, honestly, you're never gonna learn the issues until you live in it and you're
trial and error.
Trial and error. Yep.
So, anyways, it has taken weeks to get that thing emptied out. We've snaked it. We've done millions of things. It's finally back to normal, but it has taken like a month. So, yeah.
Didn't beat me.
It didn't defeat you.
Didn't beat me. No, it almost did. I almost cried a little bit.
Oh my gosh, the next one, guys. So it was like 2:30 in the morning, and I literally like the Holy Spirit woke me up, and I like sat up in the bed, and I was like, what is that smell? It was like bad.
Rotten eggs.
It smelled like rotten eggs or like sewer or something. Like it was just very like
2:00 in the morning.
2 in the morning. Mm-hmm. You know, and we both got to get up at like 5:30. Well, he's got to get up sooner, but like, you know what I mean? It's, you know. So I get up and I'm like, babe, what does that smell? We have to get up and see what that smell is. And I'm like Googling like bad smell in RV, and of course it's coming up with like, oh, use this for your black tank. And I'm like, guys, it's not that.
It's
and
definitely not that.
We keep going all around, and I wake him up and I'm like, babe, we gotta really figure out what this is. Make a long story short, like I'm doing some more looking. He's looking all around the RV. Come to find out, it was our propane tank. Now we do have a safety alarm for propane, but for some reason it did not go off.
Yeah.
So of course, like the Google thing is saying like leave immediately, you know, don't touch anything. Like it's, so I'm freaking out like, oh my gosh, where are we gonna go? It's 2 in the morning. I don't want to wake up the kids. It's school night, like, but I want to be safe. So it's like you're dealing with this tension of like being safe but being practical. It's super hard.
Yeah.
Needless to say, you found the leak.
The entire RV was filled with the smell of propane.
Very bad. Very bad.
It was bad. And thank God that nothing sparked or anything, because it could have been very bad.
Yeah.
But we basically just turned on our super fan.
Turned on all the fans in the house.
It's an exhaust
opened
fan.
up all the windows.
Yep. Aired it all out.
Within, I would say, about 20 minutes, it was starting to go away. So we felt safer to stay and like not wake up the kids. But again, it was trial and error. What had happened is as a safety precaution, they put that smell in the gas, so you do know that it's leaking. And what had happened was it was a freezing night, and there was no, you know, propane. Like it was saying at the end of the propane tank, it will do this. So
yeah, I think I'm still not sure what really happened.
Yeah,
I think
I don't know.
Like the nozzle backed out a little bit and it caused a leak, because I went there and I tightened it, and then we didn't have another leak. So I don't know how it got loose.
I don't know, guys, but and that's probably not even all of it, but that's just like the significant ones that I can remember, because it's now like a month in. And again, this was like the first like week or two of us being in the RV full time. So needless to say, and it was every day. So it really took an assurance and like our friends and family from church to really understand that you could still hear from God and be in obedience to what he said, but come across wilderness moments, you know? So if you're maybe in a moment or going to be going through a moment, just know that if you had peace going in and if he was with you in, like, you know that was where you were supposed to go, then just keep persisting.
You can lean on him in the midst of the issues. That's the thing.
So now it's like, through trial and error, we're learning all of these things. We're emptying the gray tank more. Like, we're being very like strategic about like how you do like the bathroom stuff, how you do the shower stuff. Like we're learning, right? I think that's the most beautiful thing in the whole process.
It's been a good thing though. Like, we're enjoying it, you know. So it's been honestly, great.
You know what's weird? Like, it's home.
Yeah.
Like, it sounds so weird because people can't fathom the fact that you're like living in an RV. They think you're like falling apart or you're financially unstable or whatever that may be, but like it's practical.
Yeah,
it's
not bad at all.
It feels like home, and the kids are doing absolutely incredible. They like, I did their room so cute. Wait till you see it. We did it together.
Wait for the walkthrough for that.
We all went to Hobby Lobby and had fun. Me and the girls had a lot of fun kind of picking out their theme and what they wanted and making it feel really special to them. So
yeah, so I mean, so we're enjoying it. We're paying off debt. Within a month, we've already paid off like 3 credit cards.
My Peloton.
Yeah, paid off our Peloton and 2 other credit cards. So we're on the way to being completely debt free.
We're gonna have to like keep them updated. Like I know I've seen some videos of people doing like what's it called?
We'll see. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm not saying like we have to. I'm just saying like it would be cool to let them see the pros of making a sacrifice, right? Yeah. Like it is a sacrifice to do what we're doing on everybody, not just him and I. It's the kids too. But there's benefits with that, right? So we got to pay off all the debt that he's talking about, plus more to come.
Yep.
We got to pay outright like our universal passes, so we're able to do more outside of the house now. We're on a waiting list for gymnastics, but that will come. If anybody has kids in extracurricular, you know that stuff is expensive. So we're able to do more, and that is just a beautiful thing.
And long term, what we're looking to do is just be debt free, mortgage free,
Yeah. So we watched a couple of videos. Obviously, that was like our latter research, so we're not completely there yet, but we have time. But one of the things that we watched are a lot of families doing this, where they're stationary and then they're on their property, cash flowing their home. And we have some personal friends who, kind of did the same thing. They kept their mortgage loan super, super small. I mean, I'm talking like $10,000 small. So that's kind of our goal with that, because we do want the farm life. We do want a different experience for the kids and for us.
Yeah.
So
more outdoor activity, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But we want to do it with minimal expenses.
Exactly.
Just
so
in case,
you never know. Like if God says, hey, pick up and go here, pick up and do this, like we want to be able to say, okay, we have no strings attached, like whatever you want, Lord, like we're yours, whatever you see fit. So that's what season we're in right now. The kids get to see us walk that out, and not every day is it perfect and pretty and highlight reel on social media, and we just want to make sure that we're very vulnerable and transparent with everyone. That's why we shared the things that we went through in the first week or so, because it's real. Yeah, it's real.
But there's issues, but it's beautiful.
It has been a really good transition. I know a lot of people are asking us, how's it going? We figured this will be the fastest way to just update everyone, let them know that, you're in real life, you're going to have moments where it's like, oh, this kind of stinks. Like, I don't know if we're going to be able to make it to our end goal. But then there's other days where we're like, dude, we could totally rock this out. Yeah. Like, we could totally do this.
And more days than not,
it's the we can do this.
We can do this.
Yeah. So. But I think like that goes back to all of the planning that went into what we did. We planned it right. You know what I mean? Like having the office space, like having the washer dryer, the kids on the other side of the room, the outdoor play set up, like all of these planning things I think were like key to success.
Yeah. So if you're thinking about doing this, and seriously, like we said before, seriously just do your research.
Yes.
Do your research.
Ask questions.
Don't rush into anything.
Yeah. Watch other families doing it. There's so much value that they can show you, whether it be, organization or, financially doing something or DIY, like whatever.
Yeah.
Yep.
And just expect some hiccups.
Yeah, that's a definite. Don't I mean, maybe not everyone will jump right into RV living after not ever being in one like we did, but maybe they won't.
Hey, but we're soldiers. Hey. So with that being said, listen, thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions, comment down below. We'll respond. If you can think of anything that could help us, give us some advice, comment down below.
If you are like in it and you've been in it for a long time, or you have been and now you're transitioning, back to a home, let us know, because, although our honeymoon season, looked a little different than most. We had our, hiccups. We're in it to win it, and we could use any advice. So.
Also, we want to get to know some of you guys that we haven't met yet. So,
yes.
Tell us where you're from, what state you're living in, how you're enjoying it. If you're just thinking about it, just let's start a conversation in the comment section, all right? And if you like the video, hit the thumbs up, because we want other people to be able to see it and learn from it and understand that there's going to be hiccups and all that kind of good stuff, and that you can listen to God and you can go out and do what He says and expect some things to happen sometimes,
Yeah, it was so funny. Really quick, I know, it was really funny to kind of tell people the unconventional thing that we were doing. It was so odd, so odd. Two quick stories. One of them is I'm working from home, waiting for my office to be hooked up, and I'm working right here, kind of the same view, right? So we're on Zoom a lot just to make it more personal, and we're just working. I'm on a Zoom call, and all of a sudden they're like, "Shanna," and I'm like, "Yeah." They're like, "Are you in a bus?" I'm like, "No, I'm in RV," and then I had to kind of tell them what I was doing. Yeah. So that was kind of awkward. Then another story was on the various occasions where we have told people, yeah, we're selling our beautiful house, and we're all 5 of us and a dog are going to be moving into an RV full time. I wish we could have recorded.
Yeah, their reactions to us doing this. A lot of people go, "Oh, that's awesome," but then there's the other half that goes, "Is your marriage okay?"
Yeah.
Did one of you lose a job?
Did you guys lose your job?
What's happening? What's wrong?
Are you guys getting divorced?
Because usually when people do this, there's something wrong that happened.
Yeah. What's wrong with the house? What's wrong?
What exactly happened? We're like, nothing.
Or they think you guys are too bougie, you can't do it. Let's be real.
That. Yep.
I mean, I'm just being real.
Hey,
and,
listen,
and I'm not saying that they lying either.
No, I was about to say, we're proud to be bougie.
Yeah, it's fine.
So if you're proud to be bougie, hashtag bougie in the comment section. Let me know.
Bougie on a budget, okay?
Hashtag bougie on a budget.
Nothing wrong with it. That's all I got to say.
Yeah. As long as you're comfortable and you set it up the way that you want it set up, you can do it.
As long as you can still be generous and do it, that's what's key.
Yeah.
Make sure you tip your waitresses.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So, like I said, we're going to do a walkthrough video. We're going to show the office. We're going to show the play area, the garage, all that stuff. So make sure you stay tuned. Subscribe so you can find out when it happens. We're going to have it all set up. So it's going to be amazing. Thank you guys for watching.
Love you guys.
Peace.